Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nolu Maki podcast. This is Nolu, of course, and I'm coming to you from the rainy Western Cape in a place called Paarl. I'm recording this on a Wednesday evening, and it is raining. It has been freezing today, and now it's raining, and there's more chances of rain even tomorrow. Guys, it has been such an incredible week. First, I just want to apologize for not being able to do the recording I had promised in our last episode. I remember promising you that we're going to meet or we're going to have an interview with a host or a co-host. That did not materialize because our co-host got busy so much that I had to push that topic for, I think, within the month of July. We might materialize that and make sure that we bring you our perspective analysis in all things brands and in all things business. That being said, in today's show, guys, I think I have one sober lineup for our topic today. Of course, the first one I want to talk about, and it's under the subject that says South Africa is in desperate need for doers. According to my observation, South Africa is in desperate need for doers. We have had enough with people who make promises. And then the second topic, of course, I want to talk about businesses that are calling the employees back to the office. I know this started back in April already, that certain businesses were calling their staff back to the office and people went back. Certain businesses, they resorted into hybrid mode. So we get that. We'll get more into that. And then last but not least, of course, we want to talk about the July riots and the impact that they had in the economy of KZN and how is life after. I heard there are rumors that we might see it happening again. So far, we haven't seen anybody being held into account to what has happened in the July riots that took place in 2021 in KZN as well as in some parts of Gauteng, Johannesburg. So that's the lineup of our show today, guys. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into it. Like I said, guys, I am Noluthando, and this is the Nolu Maki podcast. We are doing episode 7, and it's been quite an interesting journey, if I might just touch on that one which I am fairly enjoying and finding it quite challenging at the same time, with where recording is concerned, with where also the equipment and everything into it. But it's one journey that I have told myself I wanna just enjoy, and just grow into it and embrace those who come along as we continue to impact lives. So, like I said, guys, I believe our country is in desperate need for doers. We are living in a time where we tend to give glory to people who are complainers. There's a quote I found from Patrick McDavid when he said that we have given in too much airtime to people who are complainers than doers. If you remember, most economies around the world, they were built by people who were doers. Back in the day, the reason why you find that men and certain women, they would go and create things, all the infrastructure that we have. It was created by doers. It was created by people who wanted to solve a solution, whether it was a road infrastructure solution, whether it was, nowadays most solutions are solved through a software. That's I would say what they call it is the third industrial wave or fourth industrial wave. Between those two, guys, you forgive me, I tend to confuse these things. That's the time that we are in, and lately I've been seeing a lot of I'd say mayors, especially the newly elected mayors around the country who are doing amazing work, those who are showing us what they're doing, and those who are proving to the people who voted for them that this is why you guys voted for us, this is why you guys actually took your time and trusted us with, and entrusted us with not only just with your votes, but as well as with your tax money as a community. So for me, I just think that as a country, those are the three people I've seen so far. I know that there's more. And the reason why this has caught my attention is because it's not something we see every day. We mayors will actually promote their work on social media. You would see it if you do have a mayor that is doing a great job. You'd see it in your community. You'd see that the bins they are taken on time. It's clean around the community. You guys are fairly safe. The roads are maintained, clinics, hospital, all the basic services that we need as a community, they are run efficiently or decently, if I could use that word. So you'd find that certain areas they have a pleasure of experiencing that, and because of that, therefore, some of them chose to. I would say, let's call it publicity, call it marketing, call it campaigning, but they've decided to share it with us. And the first one that I took note of course, it was Mayor Chris Pappas in Mgeni in KZN. The only reason is because he is quite different from others. Firstly, he's young, and second of all, he knows how to speak the language of that community. He speaks in isiZulu. He is very much energetic and works for the community. He seemed to be embraced by the community, and he's serving the community with all diligence as possible. With what I'm observing, of course, this is his first time, and the young man is doing his best to work and to show people why did they choose him. And then currently the second one, which is Gettre Mackenzie. I know a lot of people have, I'd say, they didn't trust the guy and they were not sure about him because of his background. He's an ex-convict, and I get that. But right now, he has been working so hard. I'm not fully in agreement with certain stances of his party and the way that he goes on with certain things, but with what he has promised his community, I must applaud him for delivering that to his community. I must applaud him for making sure, in fact, for working hard to make sure that his community, the young people, they go back into the workplace. That's what we need: a working community, a working class, and young people who are either working or starting businesses, but productive young people, so that we can have less crime, so that we can have a circulation of the economy around this community. So I am pretty much excited. He has promised to open up a factory, if not two, within his 100 days, and I have been following it with the story or with his activities, and daily he's posting something, and daily he's showing the progression towards what he has promised his community. This, of course, is something which I want to highlight, that this is what we've been yearning for as a country. We wanted to see that, because all this time we've had leaders who would just sell us pipe dreams and not even deliver, And then, of course, the last one for me, I'd say it's Gordon Hill, right? Yeah, he's the mayor of, oh, by the way, Gayton is the mayor of in the central Peru, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he is. And then Gordon is in Cape Town, in the city of Cape Town. That's the mayor. He's been doing great stuff. He's been visible. He's the one who's championed that the My City Express in the Khayelitsha route is back. He's been working hard to make sure also the trains are back, making sure the drains, because he anticipated that it's going to be winter and the rains, they tend to be heavy in this that side of town, so therefore he needs to make sure they are ready. He's been giving people title deeds for housing. I can name the list of stuff that he's been doing. I know you might hear, I might have some kind of bias because I stayed there and I'm still in the Western Cape, of course. I'm in the winelands now, but listen, this region, or let me call it this province, stole my heart a long time ago, simply because it's one of those provinces which I believe they are efficiently ran, decently ran, and I would like to see it win. It has a lot of potential to become the Silicon Valley of South Africa, to become the hub, the hub where people can come and work, young people can do so many things, small businesses can thrive in this city. So that's where my bias lies. And of course, guys, it is the most beautiful city, yeah, let me stop. So with that, guys, that's what I mean when I say South Africa is in need of doers. That is why in our show, our focus here is on politics that impact brands, small businesses. Those are kind of stuff that we want to talk about, and we can't deny that the politics, they do affect business owners, they do affect doers, those who choose to put their heads down, to roll up their sleeve and work. It affects the ordinary people, you know what I mean? So therefore, that is why to me that these things, they do excite me. If I were to take it in the brand, as a brand strategist, I would say to you, these mayors, they're building their personal brands. Even if I were to say that political parties' brands, they're carrying them quite well, and it's something which others, they need to start learning, and they need to start exercising, because the South Africans are tired of promises, and we know someone who's doing something and the one who's not doing something. We've seen it now, That's what I was coming from when I spoke about when I mentioned, guys, that we need doers. I'm gonna keep on saying it. We need doers and not complainers. And in light of this as well, I would say it's high time where we also create non-profit organizations. Doesn't just have to be non-profit, for that matter, other businesses that would also help our communities, where we do it ourselves, where we serve our people ourselves, especially the Black nation. We need that. And we would do it without the permission of a politician. We'll do it because we want to create solutions in our communities. If we can learn from organizations such as your Offer Forum, your Action Essays, so many great communities that are doing well for their own community. You can hate them all you want, but they're serving their own communities, and not just their own communities. Actually, they're also serving other communities. If I could say the Black communities, So that's what we need as a country. We need a guy like Ian, who took upon, and made him understand that we want to hold you accountable. We want to see you serving the people who've elected you. You are not above being held accountable. You are a servant of this nation. Therefore, we need to ask you questions. And even if they might come from someone who's not of your skin tone, you need to be asked questions. And that's why we have you there. That's why we pay you every month with our tax money. So if we could move in that spirit, I believe a lot of our problems can be solved through that kind of a spirit, as opposed of us waiting for a Messiah to actually solve our problems. We know by now. I don't want to say he's coming. The one that I know who came, which is Jesus Christ, he already came, gave us strength, gave us the capacity to do what we need to do, That's the first part of the story. I think I have exhausted my thoughts around that. And then second of all, companies are calling people back to the office. Like I said, I know that a lot of companies were already doing this back in April, where they were calling people to the office. Others, they wanted to do a hybrid system where you work 2 days from your house, 3 days from your from the office, right? But now this happened. Wait, let me tell you, petrol price happened. Where a liter is getting it's creeping up close to $30 per liter. Imagine. So that means when you pour 5 liters, you're creeping up to 250. Now, that's one part. Number two, now that all the restrictions of COVID, they're all gone, companies now, they want people back. If you remember, certain companies such as your Discovery, even your Standard Bank, they were the ones who were actually advocating for mandatory vaccines. I don't want to get there, but let me pass by there. And people actually obliged and they took the vaccines, despite the fact that I think it was yesterday, where I saw an article where Standard Bank said that they've removed all the mandatory vaccines from the workplace or from their staff. All of them. I'm waiting for Discovery to say the same thing, because they've been quite hard on people when it comes to that. So therefore, because of that, I would say we are back to normal, to the normal life now. So companies, they even, I'd say, further calling people in. Even I know, for instance, that Standard Bank said that they've let go of their headquarters, so therefore people are fully remote now. But the very same Standard Bank is like, guys, come back. For God knows what reason. I might not really be I'm quite knowledgeable in terms of their reasoning when it comes to that. And then at the same time, my concern, or the growing concern for the rest of South Africans, it is the cost of living. Sitting on traffic, going to work and pouring close to 2 grand for your car, or other cars, of course, depending on the size that your car takes when it comes to petrol. You find that others, they still spend less than 1 grand, but it's still a very hefty amount, for someone who's not used to paying that. If you were used to paying a 500 rand to fill up your tank, now you're seeing yourself having to pay 700 rand. That's a lot of money, for you. So therefore, I just think that as business owners, it's important for us to be mindful of the times that we're in right now, because currently the cost of living is really, it's crazy, guys. And it would be nice if business owners would be considerate of this, if they would start to think of other ways for people to spend time for people to be productive. If it means that you continue with your work from home structure, for the time being, until things are actually back, not even back, but things get better. Sure, the economy actually become more sensible, where you can still have 2 baskets when you're going to shop and you have 1,000 rand, because currently right now you only have one basket for 1,000 rand groceries. Can you imagine? And now imagine where you have to factor in your transport money in there. I just think that we need to be considerate as business owners. We need to be people who are considerate and making sure that other people can still eat. I know that it makes a lot of sense to call the stuff back, but if it's going to cost their pockets, I don't see it working. But hey, who am I to just be the one who I'm not Cyril Ramaphosa. Speaking of him, let me not get to him, not now. And then at the same time, businesses, they need to also, I'd say, create an environment where they give advice and find ways to maximize what they have, especially small businesses. Sure, guys, with Eskom doing what they're doing, I feel for small businesses who might not have a UPS, who might not have a generator, who might not have a secondary when it comes to electricity supply. And you find that because of that, it's difficult to keep the lights on. You are losing customers, you are losing your productivity time, you're just running on a loss, and so much that you feel discouraged. It's a reality of a lot of businesses out there in South Africa. And I would say that, like us as it started, we need doers. As a doer, you need to find a solution. It might sound harsh, but you need to find a solution. If it means you going to, for instance, I saw Macro now, I think they're offering solar system that is worth 100 and something thousand. As a business, if you can go, maybe take that on credit, and factor those costs in, and try by all means maybe increase prices, whatever works for you, to keep the lights on and to continue being in business, because this is your bread and butter. And you've also have people that are looking for that you've hired, so therefore you need to keep them eating as well. It sounds a bit harsh, but it's just a reality. No one is coming to save us. This is a time where we need to partner with other people, find advisors, talk to them. If you have a store, go into that store maybe and find out what are they using. If, for instance, you are in a mall or a center where they do have a generator, whatever secondary supply of electricity, consider it now. Maybe you might have thought before it was expensive. You need to consider it now. You don't want to be the only shop that is in the dark. Or if you don't want to use that, have your own. But all in all, what I'm saying is you just need to keep going. We don't have any other way to go but to keep going, And when the going gets tough, this is where you just need to really keep on, even if you are just slowly going, but just keep going. Because we are living in the most challenging times as a country, and that are calling for us to be people who are rising up, standing up, asking for help when we need to, speak to other business owners, form partnership, form collaborations, and don't operate as an island, because you will get really choked and discouraged. And then also, in that note, we are a country that doesn't have a president. There's no way things can be this chaotic, and we still haven't had one address from the president. That means he's non-existent. And unfortunately, this is what happens when a country doesn't have a leader. I know a lot of people will feel whatever that they may feel about that, but it's just the truth. And we need to speak out the truth, as messed up that may be, or if you don't want to hear it, but we need to state it. These are times where you do it for yourself, you do it for your community, you do it for your family. You lead yourself first by not going to spaces where you can get killed, like these taverns where people are dying, where you don't have to party because you don't have the money, where you don't have to get pregnant because you can't afford the child, let alone the fact that you are currently not maybe married, if you do believe in marriage. But for me, I just think it's something that we need to go back to. Family unit. The whole idea of us doing for ourselves as women, it is one another way of actually leading us into poverty. We've seen this. It's just us pretending like we do not know it exists. That's one part of it. And because of that, like I said, take it upon yourself to fix your own problems, or else you keep waiting for a Messiah, and he might not come. Moving right along, guys. The July riots. Oh, I was in a show with Chris White and Rob. I forgot his surname. With I forgot the other guy, but he's the lawyer. Mark Oppenheimer. And I remember they asked me if we should continue to talk about it. I was honest and I said that it was quite a traumatizing experience in this traumatizing time for us. It was the first of its kind for me as an adult. I don't remember such a thing. As painful as that. I just saw right now that the cost of those riots, they were estimated to be on close to the north of let me just be sure, 70 billion rand and counting. They happened last year, I think around last week. I think they happened maybe on the 6th, if not 7th, if not 8th, around about that time, where people just went to shops, looted, and took whatever that they saw was best for them, or they needed, or rather wanted. And after then, people, let me just people, but businesses, some of them, they closed down, especially small businesses, for good, as in they were closed down forever. Companies left, especially companies that employed a lot of people, your big firms, some of them left. And till now, I'm sure KZN's economy, it is dipping and going down under the gas of being mad because a certain former president was taken to jail. People just decided to cause an uproar. Till now, nobody had gone to jail. No one was held accountable. Life continues. The amount of trauma it has caused in that region, myself, I can't imagine it. So when it comes to that, I want us, and I know there have been rumors that they might come back, looking at the state of how things are going right now, looking at the fact that we, like I said, cost of living is going high by day. There's a high level of inequality in this country. People are just wandering around, they're idling. And when I have and my neighbor doesn't have, it tends to create envy, and we'll start to want. And when you don't have this, you have this thing where you want someone else not to have as well. So as a result, you might want to steal, or you might want to do anything to jeopardize that person's produce, meaning his work, and whatever his work might bring for him, whether it's a car, whether it's a house. But you might not just feel comfortable to see somebody else doing what you're supposed to do, and you can't do that for your own, for yourself. So therefore you would choose to steal, whether to do whatever that you can to create some kind of a disruption in that person's life. And because of that, I think I wanted to just portray that or explain it in a small scale. How does it happen? This whole thing of when or the impact of inequality. It starts from there when in the neighborhood a lot of other people aren't doing something productive. The few that are doing something productive, they then become prey of those who are not. And then that's how we tend to live in the most scariest communities. That's us. And we can pretend all we want that it doesn't exist. It does exist, and that is the result of the July riots. So please, if something like that to happen again, be ready. Tool up as a business. Arm yourself as a business. Fight against your hard work, your hard-earned produce, and your hard-earned assets, please. Because you saw that our current police system, current police minister, is just useless. He just needs to resign. In fact, the whole ANC needs to go. I'm not there anyways. So my point was that the July riots are one of the most traumatic experience we've ever faced as a country. And we are yet to reap the consequences of that. That community, that province is yet to reap those consequences. That is why I always say never fight for a politician. Never trust them. Because if you do, you might lose your brains and do stupid things. And then at the end, you would still be left in poverty. Nothing changes. The only way you can actually change a situation is through work and earning a living. It's that. No one is supposed to just sit there and you think they will just make your life easy and give you money for existing. It does not work like that, guys. With that being said, I think we can close it off there. That's episode 7. That's what I wanted us to share. In due time, we will have people to feature in the podcast. But right now, enjoy my voice, Don't do that. Enjoy my voice. Come on. You can share your review. You can do all the nice things that you're supposed to do when you're listening to a podcast that you like, Follow the podcast, Apple, Spotify, what's this, Google. Yeah, it's also there. Have yourself a blessed week, guys. Let's be doers. I am Nolu. This is the Nolu Maki podcast. And I'll see you again on the next one. Bye.